Chillicothe 7th through 12th grades. First of all, I welcome all of you to this morning's Veterans Day Assembly, specifically our esteemed guests that are seated here in the center of the gymnasium. We thank you for your service, and today we honor you in all the sacrifices that you made each and every day as you served in our military forces to ensure that we have the freedoms that we have today. Students, as we join this morning in appreciation of the men and women that sit before you, we're reminded of the expectations that we have as an academic institution to make sure that we are respectful, responsible, showing compassion, and showing the many expectations that we have each and every time we gather together. So please welcome to the podium Ms. Siri Linke as she begins our ceremony this morning.
Could I please have everybody stand and remove their hats as we present the colors, and please stay standing for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the Star-Spangled Banner.
Detachment! Attention! Forward! March! Left! Left, 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 left. Column right, march. Mark time, march. Group, halt. Left face. Prepare to post colors. Post. Recover.
Thank you. Please stay standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Present. Hark!
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order. Hark!
Would you please stay standing for the Star-Spangled Banner sung by our symphonic choir?
Present.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Ladies and gentlemen, students, staff, distinguished guests, and all members of the Chillicothe 712 community. Today we gather in a spirit of honor, respect, and gratitude as we come together for our annual Veterans Day Assembly. It is a momentous occasion that we celebrate once a year and holds a special place in our hearts. It reminds us of the importance of acknowledging and appreciating the men and women, the brave men and women who have selflessly served our great nation. It's in this time we will not only pay tribute to our veterans, but also look at the history of Veterans Day, a day that stands as a symbol of our nation's unwavering commitment to freedom and to the brave individuals who have safeguarded it. Veterans Day, observed officially on the 11th day of November each year, is a day of profound significance in the United States. It's a day when we honor and celebrate the service of all military veterans, living or deceased, who have dedicated themselves to the defense of our nation. This history of Veterans Day is deeply intertwined with the history of our nation's military service, and it carries a rich legacy of remembrance and appreciation. The origins of Veterans Day can be traced back to the end of World War I, known the time as the Great War. On November 11, 1918, an armistice was signed between the Allied nations and Germany, effectively ending the hostilities on the Western Front. This armistice took effect on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, and it marked the end of a devastating conflict that claimed the lives of millions. The end of World War I brought a sense of relief, but it also a time of profound loss and mourning for the countless families who had lost lives of loved ones during the war. In the United States, the day was initially commemorated as Armistice Day, a day to honor the veterans of World War I and reflect on the sacrifices made in the name of peace. It was a day to remember those who had served and to express gratitude for their contributions to the world that was scarred by war. However, as the years passed, it became evident that the world would witness more conflicts, and the sacrifices of our veterans would continue to extend beyond World War I. So it was in 1954, recognizing the need to honor and acknowledge the veterans of all wars, President Dwight D. Eisenhower signed a bill into law, officially changing the name of the holiday from Armistice Day to Veterans Day. This transition broadened the scope of the holiday to encompass all American veterans, recognizing that our nation's commitment to freedom required the sacrifice and dedication of countless individuals in various conflicts and in peacetime. On this day, we pay tribute to the men and women who have answered the call to serve, whether during times of war or peace. We remember those who have served in the armed forces of the United States and who have upheld the values of duty, honor, and country. It is a day when we honor their unwavering commitment to safeguarding our nation and preserving the freedoms that we hold dear. In the face of adversity, our veterans, those seated before us, have demonstrated remarkable courage and resilience. They have faced unimaginable challenges on the battlefield and in various theaters of conflict. They have been separated from their families, endured harsh conditions, and sacrificed their personal comforts for the greater good. Our veterans have embodied the spirit of selflessness, displaying a willingness to defend the principles upon which our nation was founded. Veterans Day is not only a day of remembrance, but also a day of recognition. It's an opportunity for us to express our heartfelt gratitude to the men and women who have served and to those who continue to serve. These individuals have shouldered the responsibility of protecting our liberties, and have done so with honor and dedication. Their sacrifices, whether in times of war or during peace, are immeasurable, and their contributions to our nation are imprinted in the annals of history. As we gather here today at Chillicothe High School, it is essential that we still in ourselves a deep appreciation for the significance of Veterans Day. This day that serves as a powerful reminder that the freedoms we enjoy, the opportunities that we have, and the dreams we can pursue are made possible through the sacrifices of our veterans. It is through their service that we continue to live in a land of liberty and opportunity, and it is our duty to remember, respect, and honor their commitment to our nation. In closing, I'd like to share with you a poem written by Ron Tranmer, and it's entitled, Because of the Brave. America the beautiful, home of the brave and free, a land that God our Father has given you and me. He knows that in our world, freedom always has its price and can easily be lost without fight and sacrifice. So with a love of country, our bravest give their all. Many, even life itself, we're grateful for them all. Our Army, Navy, National Guard, Air Force, and Marines, present and past, all have made our bell of freedom ring.
I would now like to introduce Mr. Matthew Kreis. Raised in Ashland, Ohio, where he graduated in 1997 in the Marine Corps, he worked in radio communication operations and maintenance for the 3rd AAV Battalion. After suffering a career-changing injury, he received notice of medical discharge. Since his discharge in 2022, he pursued and achieved his dream of becoming a teacher. Matthew is proud to be with the district for the past 10 years, teaching math and now history. Could you please welcome Mr. Matthew Kreis?
Good morning. First, I'd like to thank and acknowledge Student Council and Mrs. Mickey for putting this event together. This is a massive undertaking. There's a lot of moving parts to it, so let's give them a round of applause for putting all this together. A second thank you goes to the Cavs media. First, an apology to Thomas Johnson and Mecca Richardson and Alexis Carroll. We just couldn't make our connections meet to get the interview done, but we appreciate everything that you do. If our guests have not yet seen what Cavs Media can produce, I'm sure that we'll be able to see this in its entirety very soon. Check them out on YouTube at Cavs Media. Great work, guys. The Wind Ensemble and the choir, thank you for sharing your talents with us as well. It's great to see all of these moving parts come together and celebrate Veterans Day. Thank you so much. Students, good morning. Class of 2024, good morning. Staff, good morning. Honored guests, welcome and good morning. Here we go. In preparation for this morning, I was really uncertain on what approach I wanted to take. One thing I knew for sure was I didn't want to create a somber tone. Today we honor our veterans, past and present, for taking an oath to protect and defend our country. I say both specifically. A veteran of the past is one no longer among the living. With the deepest respect for those men and women, we have a day set aside specifically for those lives on the last day of May. Veterans Day, for me, is not a day of mourning. It's a day of reminiscing. sometimes laughing about the shenanigans myself and the Marines I served with got into, sometimes crying over learning about the loss of one of their family members, recalling the shared mix of anger, arrogance, and anxiety on September 11th, 2001. It is also a day of celebrating how truly amazing these folks are. I'm not sure that our students here realize just how badass some of our guests really are. Combat first is no joke, regardless of Hollywood's interpretation. Did you know that our very own Mr. Hardesty was a Marine, is a Marine? Ask him about his combat experience. Some of our guests experienced the same conditions, just in a different time and place. We have among us superheroes who pushed every ounce of physical, mental, and emotional strengths, performing stunts of strength, agility, speed, teamwork, trust, all to perfection in a high-pressure, high-anxiety game of remake your rack during recruit training. 3 guys screaming repeated nonsense at you, beat red with those goofy hats on, veins popping out of their temples is a bit intimidating for any adult. You know what I mean? And that was just getting out of bed, making your rack the first day of recruit training. Now just imagine the remainder of their activities while in their service. We all operated under the same underlying theme of making it count. We learned quickly that all things must be done with urgency, purpose, and perfection. Ladies and gentlemen in front of me, how many of you, despite being the last to be given your dinner, begin eating your dinner, are the first ones to be done? I'm sure it's not even close. That is something that we still do even ate our meals with intensity. We learned to fire our weapons. At least in the Marine Corps, we were all required to have basic rifle training at a minimum. I'm not sure about the requirements of the other branches, but I do know the Space Force has yet to fire their lasers. We zeroed in, focused on the target, maintained our breathing and heartbeat, and fired a shot we knew would hit our target. Every movement in the process counted to make sure that shot also counted. In our training in job schools, where we learned our specific roles within our branch, mine was in the high desert of 29 Palms, California, where boots literally stuck to the ground. We learned the ins and outs of every piece of communications. Well, I know one of those was a mid-20th century field fax machine. We learned with a purpose, striving for perfection. Failure was not an option. In the moment, it meant recycling through the class again. But the future consequences of failure could be devastating. Together, we made each session count. At our duty stations, Camp Del Mar right on the beach, on Camp Pendleton in California for me, we had the general day-to-day operations of our jobs. I was designated to ensure that communications among a battalion's worth of amphibious assault vehicles, think tanks that come off the back of a ship and attack the shore, making sure that they were fully operational. This meant waterproofing all the antennas, 3 to 5 per unit, and giving a proper ground for the electricity. This, I mind you, I did with a 5th degree shoulder separation and in between surgeries. Nevertheless, I made it perfect. I made each one count. Barracks life, with thousands of Marines all around, 0 financial obligations. Let's just say, without any details in this setting, we made it count. To our students, my message is this: make it count. Every day, every movement, every decision, every interaction, every class, every assignment. Do all things with your purpose in mind and with every fiber of your being, giving the very best you can give. Everything. Set your goal. Make every step in reaching that goal count. Nothing will stop you. Seniors, you have a very special place in my heart. Some of you endured 6 quarters with me. Through sickness and then COVID. You welcomed me back even when others didn't want me back. This is your final year gracing the halls of Chillicothe. Make it count. Don't get caught up in transient drama. Believe me, it really doesn't matter. Create new connections. Solidify the ones you have. Make amends with one another. Create the stories you will be still be telling at your 40th reunion. Be purposeful. Be mindful. Be aware. Give your all to this year every day. Make it count. Teachers and staff, you and I have an obligation to these young people. And while I do know how exhausting making it count sounds when 80 decisions are made every single minute, each one of those decisions count. Take another minute to listen. Do not lose sight of what drew you. Show empathy and compassion for these people. Make it count. To my honored guests, you have all made it count. Without a doubt in my mind, I know you still make things count. Make this Veterans Day count. Reminisce and laugh, cry. Share the stories with discretion. Recall your sacrifices were not limited to combat zones. You shared an experience with so many who in every moment were also making it count. Try to remember, what was that thing PFC Jones did on field day? Where did Corporal Taylor end up after he got out? Reach out for everyone. On this Veterans Day, make it count when you see us. Thank you for your service is hollow if you do not make it count. If you have someone close to you, ask about some of their stories. Say, man, I think you are awesome. I can't imagine the stories you could tell. You have my utmost respect. I appreciate all you sacrificed for us. This carries a lot more weight that will make your gratitude known and count. I will leave you with one last thought. The values of honor, courage, and commitment are essential to my life. I feel I have made these values evident in my time here at Chillicothe. I have made the last 10 years count for sure. This place has embraced me since my arrival. I recall, and despite my resistance, Mrs. Arredondo honored me 10 years ago in the same way that Catherine and Siri did by asking me to speak that very first November. 3 months in, new teacher. Fortunately, it was only CMS at the time, and we barely filled the auditorium. But in doing so, I realized I was valued. I gave a very self-depreciating speech as I struggled with what it meant to be a veteran. The collective words of appreciation and understanding from all the veterans in attendance solidified my value as a veteran and as an individual. So thank you, Miss A, for shoving me on stage. That intervention truly counted. To the rest of you, think about your values. Not your BFF, not your significant other, or anyone else's. Your values, and how to make those count. Thank you.
Let's give Mr. Kreis another round of applause, please. I would also like to introduce another staff member, Mrs. Andrea Morgan. Andrea joined the U.S. Navy in 1997 and completed boot camp at Recruit Training Command in Great Lakes, Illinois. Upon graduation from boot camp, she advanced to E2 and received the Military World of Wars Award for her superior performance. In November of 1997, she attended A school for her yeoman rate in Madarian, Mississippi. After graduating from school in January of 1998, she transferred to a Type 3 remote sea duty, Naval Auxiliary Landing Field, San Clementine Island, an island off the east coast of San Diego, California, serving as the administrative assistant to the commanding officer. While on the island, she was promoted to Petty Officer 3rd Class, received 3 letters from the Southwest Rear Admiral. In January 2001, she transferred to Naval Personnel Command in Millington, Tennessee, where she worked in the Command Career Center supporting the travel of officers, and enlisted in the recruitment for the entire fleet. While serving in Tennessee, she was promoted to Petty Officer Second Class and earned multiple Sailor of the Quarter awards and Sailor of the Year as well. In October of 2004, she transferred to Columbus, Ohio, to Navy Recruiting District, NRD. She finished her active duty service, there earning another promotion to First Class Petty Officer, along with multiple letters of appreciation in support of the command. Andrea was honorably discharged from the U.S. Navy in 2006, earning 3 Navy Achievement Medals, 2 Unit Medals, 2 Good Conduct Awards, and the National Defense Service Medal, and the Global War on Terrorism Service Medal. Could we please give a round of applause and thank her for everything she's done? I would now like to welcome to the podium Mr. Michael McCorkle.
Good morning. My name is Michael McCorkle. A lot of you guys know me as a principal here, longtime educator, but what a lot of you guys don't know is that before I was in education, I was served in the military. I'm a 10-year veteran of the United States Air Force. I thought it'd be good to talk a moment anyways to all the students. Well, we got students here 7 through 12, which doesn't happen very often. I'd like to make a little note to say that is one of the best decisions of my life to go in the military. Like a lot of you guys, I know you're getting ready to graduate. You'll graduate soon. A lot of you guys don't know what you want to do with your life. I did not know either. I graduated high school, and 3 weeks after that, I was off to basic training. I did want you guys to know that's one of the best decisions of my life that I made. Helped me grow up, got my education while I was in, and that's what led to me being in education today. So I want you guys to consider that. It's an honorable profession. It's sacrifice, it's commitment, but I think it's very worthwhile, and I think you should consider that. I've been asked today to read names of veterans who are with us today. We've had a breakfast and an assembly for as long as I can remember while being here at Chillicothe High School. It's a really nice thing to do. The veterans come in. We get as much information as we can from the veterans who have served, and we'd like to read their names and their service and recognize them and honor them. I would ask the veterans, if you are able and if you would like to please stand up when your name is called and be recognized. First, I'd like to honor Ronald Myers. He's a Marine Corps corporal serving 1989 to 1992 during Operation Desert Storm. He served in aviation. Thank you. Next, I'd like to honor Joel Gerber. Mr. Gerber was U.S. Navy Seabees 1972 to 1978 in engineering, and he earned the U.S. Defense Medal, Vietnam Era Service, and Sharpshooter. Thank you, Mr. Gerber. Mr. Nathan Lovett. Mr. Lovett was a Marine Corps Sergeant from 2001 to 2005, serving during the Iraqi War. And, I'm sorry, I'm having, is that something handle? Yeah, thank you. Thank you for your service, sir. Mr. Timothy Bear. Mr. Bear was an Air Force Sergeant from 1967 to 1973, serving in food service. Thank you for your service. Mr. Donald Lynch. Mr. Lynch was in the Air Force, Airman Second Class. He's stationed in England, Germany, France, North Africa. He was an aircraft electrician. Thank you for your service. Mr. Perry Howard. Mr. Howard's in the U.S. Army, 1971-1972, serving during Vietnam. He was with the military police and received an honorable discharge. Thank you for your service. One of our own here at Chillicothe City School District, Mr. Darren Hall. Darren was in the Navy, 1989. He is currently with the Chillicothe with the Student Resource Officer. Thank you for your service. Mr. Matthew Hardesty. Mr. Hardesty, another one of our own. He was in the United States Marine Corps, Staff Sergeant, 2001-2016. He did a tour in Iraq, 2 tours in Afghanistan while serving in the infantry. Thank you for your service. Mr. Monty Arledge. Mr. Arledge was a sergeant in the Army, served during the Vietnam era, 1966-1968 as a radio operator. Thank you for your service. Mr. Tim Lane. Mr. Lane was in the United States Marine Corps, 1975 to 1997, serving as an air traffic controller. Thank you for your service. Mr. Sean Brust. Mr. Brust was in the 82nd Airborne, the U.S. Army, 2007, stationed at Fort Bragg, North Carolina as a rigger. Thank you for your service. Mr. Ray Denny. I want to get these right. It's Roy Denny. Thank you. He was in the Navy for 4 years as an electrician and radio man, serving, and he got the Vietnam Service Medal. Thank you for your service. Mr. Aaron Morgan. Mr. Morgan was a U.S. Navy veteran, Yeoman Second Class, 1997 to 2004, in Japan and Millington, Tennessee, correct? And he was an office manager. Thank you for your service. Mr. Jamar Harris. Mr. Harris was in the U.S. Navy, 1990 to 1994, stationed in San Diego, California, Norfolk, Virginia, and also Mississippi. He served as a barber while in the military. Thank you for your service. Another one of our own here at Chillicothe is City Schools, Miss Julie Preston. Julie was in the U.S. Army. She was served in South Korea as a computer officer, and she won the Defense Medal. Thank you for your service. Mr. Timothy King. Mr. King was in the United States Army 1972 to 1978, serving as a combat engineer. Thank you for your service. Mr. Derek Fries. Mr. Fries is in the U.S. Army. He served in Hawaii, Korea. He was in Kentucky 1980 to 1987. He was a battalion sergeant, earning a Good Conduct Medal and his Achievement Medal. Thank you for your service. Mr. Aaron Seward. Mr. Seward is a Navy veteran, serving in Operation Iraqi Freedom 2002. He was a gas electrician technician, Battle E ribbon, marksman, and Battle E Good Conduct. Thank you for your service. Kelly Myers. Air Force Staff Sergeant, 1992 to 2001, serving in the medical career field. Thank you for your service. Mr. Mike Beatty. Mr. Beatty is a veteran of the U.S. Army, Specialist D5 from 1974 to 1974. He was in Europe and England. He was a firefighter, receiving a Good Conduct Medal. Thank you for your service. Mr. Tom Stanton. Mr. Stanton is a veteran of the U.S. Air Force, Staff Sergeant, 1968 to 1974, serving as an aircraft mechanic. Thank you for your service. Mr. Dennis Murphy. Mr. Murphy was a Marine Corps Sergeant, 1972 to 1978. He was active on sea duty and guarded nuclear missiles. Thank you for your service. Mr. Javier Abreu. Mr. Abreu is a U.S. Air Force veteran, serving 22 years. Time and place served, all over. He was a dentist, Meritorious Service Medal, Combination Medal, and Global Command, Strike Command? All right, gotcha. Thank you for your service. Mr. Robert Menafine? I hate to mess these up. Robert is a U.S. Army veteran, E-Force Specialist, served in 1986 to 1990 in Maryland, and he served 11th Bravo Infantry. Thank you for your service. Mr. Bert Blevins. Mr. Blevins is a veteran of the United States Marine Corps, Sergeant, 2000, I believe it's 9 to 2013, probably 2004 to 2013. Serving in Iraq in the infantry. Thank you for your service. Next, I'd like to recognize Mr. Joe Brown. Mr. Brown is a veteran of the U.S. Army, served during the Vietnam era 1968-1969. Job on the service was amputary. I don't even know what that means, Mr. Brown, but sounds good. And he received the Vietnam Award. Thank you for your service. Mr. Gregory Wade. Mr. Wade is a veteran of the United States Air Force, mid-90s, serving in the Middle East. He was a helicopter mechanic, and he was award received with Southwest Asia Watch Award. Thank you for your service. Mr. Steve Elliott. Mr. Elliott is a veteran of the U.S. Army, Sergeant First Class, serving 1982 to 2002 as a mechanic. Thank you for your service. And Mr. Hardesty Hall. First name? Hal. Okay, sorry, I want to get that right. Hal Hardesty was a veteran of the U.S. Army. He was a sergeant, served in 1976 to 1980 in combat support. Thank you for your service.
Color guard, the color guard. We didn't introduce the color guard. We're going to invite our color guard. They actually came in a little later because they were setting up and didn't get the opportunity to share with us their information. So I'm going to just ask each of them to introduce themselves and what branch of military and anything else.
Robert Leach, Chillicothe High School class of 1976, United States Army, 1980 to 2002, retired Lieutenant Colonel.
Ryan Varney, U.S. Navy CP. I was in Afghanistan.
Bill Marsh, United States Army, 11th Armored Cavalry Regiment, Desert Storm, Kosovo.
Thank you gentlemen for your service.
Students, I want to thank you for how respectful you were during that. It takes a while reading all those names, but that's extremely important. At this time, I would ask that each of you take a moment of silence to honor the service and sacrifice of all veterans, both past and present. Thank you.
Could you please direct your eyes to the back of the gym as our CHS Wind Ensemble will now play Stone Gardens by Robert W. Smith.
not make it home, and therefore I was not able to remind you again how much I love you. Although I may not be here right now, take comfort in the fact that I am watching over you. I am not gone, and I will always be with you in spirit. I know this time must be hard for you, but I also know how strong you are. Never forget that our Creator knew what was best for us before we were born. Take comfort in that. This happened for a reason. Although you may not believe it now, you will one day. Although it may seem like my life was cut short, I lived a life that most can only dream of. I married the perfect person. I have a beautiful daughter that amazed me every day. If you feel sad, just think back to the memories that we shared. Look at our daughter and how beautiful she is. Be strong for her. Remind her about her daddy and tell her I love her more than anything else in the world. Her birth was the best day of my life, and she was the best thing that ever happened. Her smile and laughter represent all that is good and beautiful in the world. Tell her daddy is in heaven now and will watch over her and protect her every minute of every day. I love you, my dear, but never be afraid to do what you need to be happy. It's so important that you continue to find happiness in your life. Although you may think this is impossible right now, have faith. Much better times are coming. You and your daughter have a wonderful life ahead of you, and I am so happy to have shared it with some of it with you. I love you, loving husband and American soldier.
Could we please have everyone stand for the retiring of the colors?
Detachment, post. Present, up. Up, up. Prepare to retire. Retrieve colors. Left face. Forward, march. Column left, march. Column left, march. Column right, march. Detachment, halt. Fall out.
You may now be seated. Now here's Taps by Aaron Ballantyne and Malachi Upshaw.
Today we gathered together to pay tribute to our veterans and explore the history of Veterans Day. Let us remember as we leave this place this morning that our nation's strength and resilience are a testament to the dedication and the sacrifice of those who serve and continue to serve today. We honor their unwavering commitment to safeguarding our country, and we express our deepest gratitude for their service and sacrifice. Students, tomorrow as you take the day off from school, do not forget the sacrifices that were made for us to be able to celebrate the freedoms that we endure each and every day. The freedoms to be able to express your opinions openly, to worship where you would like, and to be able to live each day as a free American. To the men and women who have joined us this morning, we appreciate and are thankful for your service. And we are glad that you were able to be here with us this morning. And while today or tomorrow is the day that we celebrate Veterans Day, let us not forget the men and women who have sacrificed so much. Whether they still live among us or they've gone before us, their sacrifice is deep. And we must continue to appreciate and acknowledge all that they've done to ensure our freedoms. I appreciate everyone's attention this morning. And as we conclude, I'd like to thank all who have participated in today's service, from our color guard to our choir to our band, Mr. Christ specifically for speaking, and to our student council for organizing such an outstanding event. Thank you all for participating, and enjoy the rest of your day.